In this video and lab, we get to continue our journey in the world of configuring and verifying OSPF in our topology. So let's sync up. We created loopback addresses on all 4 routers, done. And on R1, check, we used a single network statement and area 0 for all networks. So that was done in the previous video and lab, and now we'll continue on to this step right here, which is on R2, use the most specific network statements as part of our configurations. So in this lab, we're focusing on OSPF, and we're going to put all of our networks into area 0. And here on R2, they're saying use the most specific network statements to do so on R2. So let's go to R2 and let's give it a shot. All right, so our task is to go on R2 and enable OSPF, but use the most specific network statements that we can for its interfaces. So let's start off with this. Let's do a show IP interface brief right here on R2. Let's see what interfaces it has. So it's got 10.2.0.2, 10.24.0.2, 10.12.0.2, 10.23.0.2, and 2.2.2.2. All right. So if we're going to use exact network statements where the wildcard mask is all zeros, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 network statements to include all 5 of these. Let's also verify that OSPF is not running on this device. We'll do a show IP OSPF, press enter. And sure enough, it's not running yet. So we'll go into configuration mode. We'll type in router OSPF and then pick a process number. I'm going to pick 1, press enter. And now we can start adding the network statements. So to add this network right here, we type in network. And I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm just going to copy by clicking and dragging, and then pasting, put a space, and then 0, 0, 0, 0, which means we care about an exact match. That's what it means by the most exact network statement. An exact match on 10.2.0.2. And then whatever interface has that IP address, that associated interface, and the network it's connected to, that network gets placed into the OSPF routing process. Then we'll follow it up with a space, area, and we're going to put that network into area 0. Great. So if we do a do show IP OSPF interface brief right here, we should see that we have gig 00 that's connected to the 10.2.0 network, now participating and part of OSPF. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 more networks to go. Let's do it. So let's hit the up arrow key a couple of times, and we'll just go ahead and swap these out. So 10.24 is the next network. Boom, up arrow key. The next one is 10.12. So we're just going to replace that 24 with a 12. Boom. Next one is 10.23. So we'll hit the up arrow key, change that second octet to a 23. And then the last one is 2222. So we'll go ahead and put 2222 as the IP address we want to match on. 2.2.2.2. Press enter. Now hit the up arrow key a few times and issue the command show IP OSPF interface brief. It should include all of the interfaces on R2. We also got this really sweet message right here, which is a good sign. And this is an indication that we found a buddy. R2 has found another OSPF speaker. That's what they call another router that speaks OSPF or is using OSPF. And as a result, we can exchange LSAs and do updates with each other to help educate each other, R2 and R1, about how to reach networks that they're both respectively connected to. All right, so let's get out of configuration mode. And here are a few of my favorite commands regarding OSPF in general. One is show IP OSPF interface brief, which we just did. I'll do that again, just to get a nice clear view of which interfaces are participating in OSPF on this router. We can do a show IP OSPF all by itself, press enter, and among other things, that's going to help confirm what the router ID is for the OSPF process here running on R2. And now that we have another OSPF speaker, another router that we can communicate with, we can do a show IP OSPF neighbor and press enter. And that's going to show us our neighborship. So right now, R2 has this neighbor that has a router ID of 1111. And if we went to R1 and issue that same command, which we'll do, show IP OSPF neighbor, R1's going to say, hey, I've got a neighbor, and his router ID is 2222. So this is great progress as we start to build and configure this network. So let's take a look at our task list. So in our task list on R2, use the most specific network statements, which we did, and took 5 of them to include all 5 networks into the OSPF process. So our next step is on R3, use network statements that match on the first octet. And we'll go ahead and do that in the very next video as we continue configuring OSPF on our topology. So I'll see you in a moment for that. Meanwhile, I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.